Oh my goodness. Seriously, I have to just do it. It's like I can tell myself I don't have to think about things that don't matter.
I was designed to do those things. How the hell does this guy know this about me?
It's impossible to not see.
When Dan read for my sister, she was like, he's psychic. She's like, how does he know that?
Yes.
She's like, it's human design, guys. Like, it's just a testimony of how legit it is.
Seriously, Danny was like FBI or CIA. He's like, how the hell does this guy know this about me?
Having my chart read, there were just thing after thing after thing that I was just like, wow, that's me.
This man is reading me and I've never met him before.
I was in the midst of one of the biggest emotional waves I've ever been in my life, and he saved my life.
It seems like everybody has the same reaction. It's that aha moment, and they want to find out more. Hello, everybody. Oh, I got an echo. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Human Design Advantage podcast. My name is Jen, and decoding the matrix for us is Danny Guru. Hey, Dan.
Jen. Good to see you.
It's good to see you. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Is it sunny where you are? It's a beautiful day out today.
Today, yes, it is. It's been a couple of cold and cloudy days here in Houston, so it was a reminder that winter is probably right around the corner. But today we have some sun, and it's really nice outside.
Wicked gorgeous out here. Yeah, I even brought my indoor plants outside to get a little sun.
Yay!
Yes. I can't wait to dive into today's subject. It's a sort of general in a sense.
Yes. And we are on episode 26. So we are going to be going over the channels in human design today. It is October 30th. Before we dive into the topic that we're going to be discussing, make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow the channel. Share that information out. We've been getting a lot of feedback, a lot of traction, and really grateful. I do have a couple of announcements. If you don't already know, we are offering free consultations here at Human Design Advantage. You can check the scrolling banner down below, but if you want to go ahead and pull your own chart, we also have that capability on our website now, as well as you'll be able to check the transits. I know we had a video where we had talked about tracking the moon and everything like that. You can go to our website to do that now. So once you pull your chart and everything like that, reach out if you're confused, you don't know where to start. Make sure you book a free consultation. And we haven't really officially made any posts. I'm going to start doing that this week, but we have a new program here too at the Human Design Advantage called the Vortex. And that is a monthly subscription for $8.88 to really help you through your deconditioning process. And it offers a lot of support. It's got a lot of classes. We're going to have group coaching and be able to build a container to help, not just you, but us too, because we are also going through our experiments. So if that's something that interests you, make sure to check that out. And all the information that I am saying is down below. You can check the links. And it is official. Me and Dan are going to be going to Roswell, New Mexico for the UFO Expo. And the reason I'm making the announcement now is because they do have early bird tickets, and I believe that it expires tomorrow. So if you want to come and meet us in person, we would love to see you there. You can find the information to all that down below. The conference is going to be next year, March 10th, 11th, and 12th. Yep. So wrapping up all the details for that. Super excited to be going. And I hope me and Dan hope to see you there.
I hope we see you there. It'll be really nice. A quick add on as it relates to the consultations. That consultation is also for couples, partnerships of any kind. That consultation is also for a parent as it relates to their child. So you don't need to know human design as a parent. You don't even need me to read for you per se. If you have concerns about your child and you're open and receptive to this knowledge, I can give you a quick consult on that as it relates to your kid or your kids. And you will get the knowledge sort of by way of me reading your child. And it'll open up that way. So we're really opening things up here, especially with couples and partnerships of any kind. any kind, friends, business, mostly, of course, husband, wife, that type of thing. Those romantic partnerships. So we can get you both read at the exact same time. Again, you have to be open, because I can't do a complete reading individually like I do when I talk to the individual. So it's a slightly different format, but it's really effective, super duper effective.
Yes, we are. You've been, the feedback that we've had with the couple readings have been, you always get positive review.
It's
Even
stunning. Yeah.
when I was following up and doing the exit interviews, it's blown couples especially away, and really has helped them in their relationships with others. So definitely, if you've got questions, like Dan said, you're open to the information, take advantage of that free consultation. Before we dive in, you said something that brought something to mind, and that is, we are in the process of merging. I'm merging my business under HDA, and we're doing some tech stuff. So if you guys have any issues, you get, like, I think last week some random emails got sent because I was working on the newsletter and everything like that. Bear with us. I'm going to be really diving into all of the technical aspects and stuff like that. If you can't find a link, you can't book it, it doesn't work, you don't get a Zoom link or anything, don't hesitate to reach out. You guys letting us know what's going on the front side really does help me, because sometimes I always don't see it. I'm more in the back of the ship doing all the technical work. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or any issues. That's what we're here for.
Jennifer, this has nothing to do with our show today, but how come you have a cool ship in the background and I don't? It's because I
emailed it to you.
Oh, geez, figures.
We'll get you set up. We'll get the new branding and everything set up for you as well. But yeah, guys, that's our little ship. So
if you look real close, it's got our name right on the bow of the ship in front of the light.
USS Advantage.
Yeah.
And it's got a little human design body graph on it too, right there. You can hardly see it, but up close you can.
Oh my God, look at that. I love it.
Yep. So
all right. Let's talk shop, Jen.
Yes.
Let's talk shop. So today, what are these life force channels? Why do they matter? Why do we even call them, quote, a life force? Right? We've been calling that the life force channels. And so to demystify that, it's not a life force like something that's mystical in a sense. It's a chemistry. It's a very complicated. Actually, that all by itself could be considered mystical, because how did we get it in the first place? That's a really good question. But everybody knows they're driven in a certain way, right? There's no exceptions. Everybody has their own unique way. That way is driven first and foremost by the channels that are defined in your body graph. Mm-hmm. Whether it be one channel or 6, it doesn't matter the number. The number doesn't matter. What matters is that, except for the reflector, which will have no channels, and they have their life forces connected by the movement of the moon. It's the same thing for them. It's just different. But for the rest of us, the other 99%, it's wherever there's a channel in your body graph, that point between 2 gate numbers that connects and draws a solid line.
Can I go ahead and I'll show them when we share the screen exactly what to look at for the channel.
Right, exactly. And so we'll just go through and just discuss it, because Jen, you're aware of your life forces now. I'm aware of mine. We can name them, and we can see our helplessness to be what they are or to struggle against them. Mm-hmm. Right. So we see the part of our life that doesn't work out so well as we struggle against our life force and our type, of course. And then we see the peace and harmony in our life that happens when we surrender to our life forces, of course, our type as well. And so this whole idea of a life force, what is it? It's a complex chemical reaction inside the body. It's a chemistry between 2 points of energy inside the body. We now know we have 9 chakras in this body. There's probably more in reality that people can find.
There is. But most people focus on the standard 7. Like we had a discussion the other day when we were talking about healing, and energy healing and stuff like that, if I have noticed other chakras in the system, but we actually have a lot more chakras than that, but they don't, not all of them exist within the body. We have chakras on the outside as well.
Right. And there's plenty of things. There's one at the bottom of each foot. There's one in the roof of the mouth and the palate. There's the hands, the other set of eyes in the body, the hands, our palms, the fingers, our touch. So all of this stuff, for all I know, there's a way we could find a chakra at the end of each fingertip probably. But the 7 main centers that are emanating out the bulk of the energy from the old way, the 7-centered being, that's the mutation that took place several centuries ago. And that's when we broadened out and expanded into this 9-centered being that we are. And they pump out this energy and they create the openings needed for these life forces to connect and become a channel. So what is a channel? What is this thing we call a life force? Again, it's this chemistry between one gate and the next that once they come together and meet, they become a quantum, something that is much greater than what those gates would be individually. And then they get given a name. We're able to name them. This is where the I Ching fell short. They stopped at the ways. Young man, you have these 64 ways. Which ways are you? Once we were able to really flesh that out with our newest, magic, which I keep calling science, then we were able to start to realize the chemistry of how they actually connect. And
it would make sense to me, because if you have one thing and then when you bring it together, which would basically be the channel, it would add more flavor to it, I guess it would be the word.
That's the thing. And it creates a quantum in that flavoring, and that flavor becomes a quantum of something that is actually different than the 2 parts alone. And the important part about it is the steadiness of it. It's called the life force because once it's struck in place at the time of your birth, you can rely on that driving you your whole life. It'll drive you the whole time and you can count on it. And other people can say, oh yeah, I see that in this being. And friends will say, oh yeah, I know that about them. And it'll be the keynoting of the channel itself. There's 36 channels in the body graph. So that's it. So what's humanity doing? We're constantly repeating over and over again these life forces, but in slightly different variations. And so we wonder why there's so much sameness, yet there's so much difference. It's because you're born in a different spot that's in different lines. There's different colors. There's different aspects to each different channel in the body graph. But if you go to the first slide, we can the blank one, where it's just a blank body graph. There you go. So I just grabbed this offline, and you can see on the body graph itself where it says the channels. It's pointing out a whole channel that goes from one place to the other.
It's the tubes.
Yeah, these tubes that would get then filled in by a coloration when we do your actual body graph. And if you notice, 9-centered body graph here, not 7-centered. So this is our expansion, and it's empty. So there's nothing here at this moment in time. So what do we have? We have a being waiting to become something. Waiting, this is that conception essentially. There's nothing there.
This is like the blueprint.
This is the mapping blueprint that will then get filled in. And if you move to the other slide, this is a really simple just demonstration of this is an empty body graph, and then boom, they're all filled in. This is now when you start to pick up your differentiation between one gate and another. If you go from gate 12 in the throat center down to gate 22, yes. So now suddenly these become alive in you. And this is a design of a social being. We can count on this person to be either in the mood or not to socially interact, to have a strong presence, to be a person of consequence or not in the moment. Gate 12 will say, I know I can or not. And that I know I can or not is governed by the mood of that being. That mood is their chemistry. But when that life force comes alive and they say, I know I can or not, and they choose to or not, they stubbornly won't. And what's the won't? They won't whatever. Won't go to the party, won't move to the thing, won't finish the conversation, won't pick up the phone, whatever it is. And when they say they will, suddenly all the power of that emotional solar plex, gate 22, is there to have the grace of what gate 22 does. It listens. It listens before it then responds inside of its social context of this individual definition. So now this person, this is a manifesting channel, and we start adding keynotes. You have this channel, you have a strong capacity to become emotionally clear about the ways in which you will manifest your actions out in the world, with a great deal of power coming off of that emotional motor that can motorize this movement of that social being. And suddenly this person is alive with a life force. And that life force stays there forever. And that social being has so many flavors to them. They're so complex. Anybody getting next to this social being is going to have to accept their ways, their things that come out uniquely in them. They're going to have to understand that this is their way. They can't not be the person who can suddenly pop into action with all the power in the world to do anything, and or the person who can say, oh, I don't know if I'm in the mood for that, and govern the whole crowd because or place or scenario or the theater that you're in. Yep, they can govern the whole thing by their intuitive knowing of their mood. That's it.
And I feel this. I definitely feel this. There are moments, though, that I have recognized where I'm not in the mood. And I know that either I have to show up at this event or I need to go. And once I do, after, listening to what my body is saying, it'll spark up. Sometimes it doesn't. I've gone to events where I didn't want to go and I got there and I'm like, okay, I really don't want to be here, and I've left. And the exact opposite, where I have gone and I enjoyed and I had a really good time. So
right, all the design of a social being designed to make an impact based on being essentially a stranger of consequence, somebody who suddenly becomes consequential because what they heard, they then turned around and were able to spit out what is it they now feel and what they're now going to do, all because they could listen, because they had the grace to listen. How many people can't listen? Most of us. So that's because there's 36 channels and most people only have 1, 2, or 3, or maybe 4 on average, and it won't be this channel. Most people don't have this channel.
And I've had to perfect it and getting better at my listening too. I know that when I was not practicing mindfulness and everything like that, and I would get busy and I wasn't quite in the moment to really give the other person my full attention.
Right.
And I would miss things, but then I would also go back and try to clarify, what I missed or to make sure. But yes, I do. I try to be open and listen to a lot of things.
Right. Now, nobody has all the channels ever. That's the deal. Yet, if someone did have all these channels, we would say, my God, this is a complex individual, right? We would say that there's a lot going on there.
Yes.
To me, this person's head would explode, but I don't know what that would actually look like. But bear in mind, since we're designed to commune and come into communion with the other and connect with the other, we're designed to do that. We're made sick when we don't, and or when that's curtailed in any way. We're creatively designed to bump into people, decide where our communion feels right, and then commune, hang out, do something, talk, whatever it is, make love, go to the movies, get, whatever, have a baby, you name it. We're designed to do all of these things, yet we're only ever part of it. And the confusion for people, these life forces are so powerful that as soon as we come into contact with a small crowd, all these channels are defined. We become the whole thing. If the crowd is a little bit bigger, you can guarantee all these channels are defined many times, multiple times. So with all of this force coming in, you can now see why being in a gathering can be so exciting.
Again, overwhelming too.
Overwhelming.
I would like to pose a question for whoever's viewing and they know that they have a defined solar plex and they are emotional. But for me, sometimes big crowds like that, I get too overwhelmed. It's too much. It's too much going through me. So I I don't know if that's more of me emotionally picking up on everything that's going on, but
the simple answer to that is the same for all of us. It's such a beautiful answer. The answer is we don't know. Ergo, our life forces are going to tell us through its chemistry to slow down, to back off, maybe to leave for a half hour and come back. Who knows what it is? Maybe to leave for good. Maybe it's just to lean in and suffer through the discomfort because you need to be there and there's something cool on the other side you're waiting for. Who knows what it is? But it's a lot of juice to suddenly say, hey, I'm my unique self. And now suddenly all of this life force is around me, penetrating me as I penetrate it. Don't forget, as the complexity of this body graph comes into contact with the others, we're putting ourselves into them. They're putting themselves into us. This is a mechanic that we can't stop. You can't get behind a lead wall and figure it's going to not be there. It goes right through all of it because this neutrino ocean that governs our consciousness, that takes these two crystals of consciousness above the head in the ajna, together with a monopole holding us together in this illusion that we're actually separate from one another. And it does that for us. And the next thing you know, that stuff is pouring right through, and it goes right through everything. As that neutrino ocean goes through, it's literally pouring out through our aura and going into the other. Not to mention our aura is this electromagnetic signature that's greater than that because it goes right through stuff. It goes right through walls. It goes through everything. And so let's say you live in an apartment building and you have certain life forces in your body and you've become okay in your environment. But some reason at night when you go to sleep, things are a little bit whatever. Look at the wall you're sleeping against and recognize someone's up on the other end of that wall. Is their bed on the same wall as yours and you just don't know it? And now you're in their aura every time you go to sleep and they're in yours.
I like that. Okay. I can notice that with the people who live in my house.
Right. Sometimes sometimes you can't make yourself comfortable in any room sometimes.
Yes.
And you have to find a corner. You ever notice, like a kitty cat, you're finding a separate corner somewhere and it's like, oh, okay, I can relax. And it's not simply because you figured the eyeballs aren't on you. It's because you got out of their energy. And of course, maybe their eyeballs aren't on you or they can't hear you. But it's the energy that was doing much of that heavy lifting. And it's always going to do that. So every crowd, every life force. Let's just pick another life force. Let's go from 16 in the throat center down to 48. Yep.
This one.
Right down there. This design of talent, this design of being somebody who has a great deal of depth that they just want to get out into the world. It feels like a manifesting channel because it goes straight to the throat, but it's not. There's no motor there. So here's a life force that when it gets put into place and this person finds the thing that they identify with, suddenly they become super talented at it. They become really good at it. They have a natural enthusiasm that wants to basically express it and share it with the other. These are things this person can't help. So if you have this channel in your body graph and you're sharing the stuff that you just became identified with and you're sharing it with somebody else, you can't help that. If this is your husband or your wife, let them speak. They've got something to say about the thing they're becoming talented on. And they want to be excited about their talent. And they're nervous that they won't have the energy about their talent and about the various things they can identify with to then start repeating, to then become something that becomes a new pattern that then reaches its way into the collective. This person will be doing that their whole life. It's a life force. They can't help it. And you take that talented life force that wants to share and you put it in a crowd that's not listening, that person isn't going to want to stick around. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. So now you're with your partner, you're out in the world, and they just don't feel right in a certain place. Now you can know it's not their fault. They're not being a stick in the mud. Maybe you'll cut your time short. You know what? Partnerships out there, especially, give your partner a break. If they suddenly don't want to be someplace, cut them loose. Let them go home. Or experiment with, sometimes make them stay, sometimes let them go home. And they have them join the experiment with you. Okay, sometimes I'll stay, sometimes I'll, and we'll see what the difference is. And now a couple can be super open with each other and be like, oh, dear sweetie, I didn't recognize it. Now I can see. You know what? It was more important that you be whole than I have you at this gathering that maybe didn't even matter all that much.
I used to work with a guy who's he would let his wife do that. She didn't really like to be around social events or anything like that, so she never went. And he worked at the same place for years, and no one really got to meet his wife except for one time. She had made the decision that she was going to attend. And I think that's beautiful information, because I know for me, I've been in relationships where I have not felt comfortable, or I did not want to go. And that person I was with, I never heard the end of it. So a lot of people jump into going, because even though they don't feel it, just to get out of, hearing whatever comes back from the other person. So
Right.
I think
Right.
it's very important that we start to normalize this.
Normalize this is exactly right. That person that finally, the wife actually came out to do the thing. I'm not sure how she would have felt, but had she known her body graph more, and had they known the body graph more, she might have made it out another time or two. Chances are she received a good deal of love out there, and people were interested to know who is this person, and so forth. So it's hard to say. So this is the deal. We always have this complete set of life forces pounding away. Let's just do one more channel. Let's do an abstract collective channel. So down at the bottom, the root center.
Okay.
Yep, we've got gate 52 going up to gate 42. The root center far left, the left channel.
Oh, yep, there it is. I couldn't tell if that was 52 or
Well,
50.
it's hard. You're actually in 60. It's the one to the left, the channel to the left of that, just a half inch to the left. That one. Yep.
Yeah, this one. This last one.
Yeah, you're actually going, no, all the way on the left-hand side. 42.
Oh, I thought you said 52.
Oh, I did say 52. I meant 53.
Okay, 53 and 31?
Yep. That they've actually got the numbers wrong on this body graph. Look at that. They've got the numbers wrong. That's too funny.
Yeah, they do. No,
They do.
No, it's right in the book. But the number on the top should be 42.
It should be 42, not 31. That's too funny. Okay.
42, 3, and 9.
Yep. So, well, regardless, the image is what's important. So this is the channel of maturation. The gate numbers are 53, 42. And 53 is this powerful adrenaline energy to start something. And 42 is this incredible sustaining power of the sacral to keep responding towards the thing it's going to conclude. It's going to finish. So humanity is designed to start a thing and finish a thing, bringing a thing through to completion. And it's empowered by two motors that are called, and it's called a format energy. If you have this energy in your body graph, it will format every place you go. It will format your whole body graph, You could have that channel of talent, and you could have that channel of being a social being in your body graph, and have this channel. And being a social being and being talented will be formatted by your need to start something and go through the middle and come to the conclusion. Hi, I got into a marriage and I found out I didn't like it. And now I'm stuck here for 10 years until I can figure out how I can get out, because I have to finish this thing. This is an expression of this channel. Another expression of it is the one that it's supposed to be. I started something, I responded into her that I really liked, and I'm identified with it. And my sense of caution in gate 12 has gone away. And I now feel like, yes, I can. Because the voice of 12 says, I know I can, or not. And the or not slipped away, and the I know I can got into place, and boom, they're out manifesting their beginning and maturing that through a process that comes to a conclusion. Maybe it was moving hay bales off of a truck so that you could feed your cows for the winter. You started it, it took all day, you went through the middle, and then you're hurt and your body's all sore from moving 1-ton bales of hay, but you did it. And now it's over. That was my day yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, I was just going to say, are you describing your day yesterday?
Yeah, and it wasn't all day. It took all of an hour or two, an hour and change at most. But anyways, it's just a thing. But we started and we ended, and there was 4 or 5 of us there doing the thing, and there was a thing, and this channel was undoubtedly there. I say undoubtedly, it may not have been, but its essence was, and this body graph was largely filled in between the 5 or 6 of us standing there doing the thing, moving in and out of the aura of the other, constantly shaking it up, putting my guaranteed steady life force into the other. So here I am with channel 3420 saying, I'm busy now. Let's do this now. I've got energy right now. I'm responding right now. And here's Chris with a channel of with that very same channel you have, 1222, saying, yep, I heard the truck show up. I can hear her. I'm listening, and I know I can. Yep, I know I can. I got a tractor. I know I can. So he was empowered to manifest and impact that moment. And then there's Ryan with the experiential process, wanting to experience what it's like to watch these things fall off the truck. And then there's the other two people that drove in the truck whose designs I don't know, you know what I mean? And they brought their own unique character to it all. And all I'm getting at is we constantly are mixing, and these life forces have to be nailed in place at the time of birth. Remember, at the moment of separation from your mother, the moment you see daylight between your big toe and your mom, if you came out normal, in that way, that's the moment the genome says, let's pick up our differentiation and strike this being into place. They are minted like a coin with these life forces, and they can count on them. And how do they know they're working? They feel satisfied, at peace, and they feel victorious at the end of the day. And they're pleasantly surprised by how everything felt like it was going. And it's really just that simple. It's so simple that, like I often say, sometimes only a 5-year-old can really understand it. And this is all because there's a neutrino ocean, subatomic particles, the neutrino with mass pouring through everything, being picked up by our genetics, saying, hey, we're made different. And that expression coming out of the body graph, out of these life force channels, through the centers, out into the aura, into the world. The aura makes the type. The type and the aura are intrinsically interlocked as basically one thing. Aura and type are basically the same thing.
Does so it would hit our aura and then magnify out?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, basically it emanates from within and magnifies out, and it's a constant process. So the aura is there even when we're sleeping. It's work. If we're alive, the cells in our body are generating this aura and the synergy of their oneness. Go back to the other slide for a second, and suddenly you'll get an idea for how empty the world is without definition.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. We might as well be amoeba or old protozoa working off of carbon chains to survive in a hot environment. You know, who knows? So there's nothing to us. We might as well be a blade of grass. Actually, a blade of grass has more design elements than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, a blade of grass at least has the 15, 5, and the 3. A rock has more design components than this. Even a rock is endowed with at least one crystal of consciousness, one conscious aspect, and that would be a gate 25. Now, in the rock's case, it's not a living codon, a genetic piece of codon material that we can read, but the essence of that gate 25, the love of all things, the spirit of the true self, the self of humanity, is alive inside of gate 25. It's in everything. So, I mean, in all inanimate objects. So even a rock is more interesting than this fully empty body graph. Now, an interesting experiment would be, it can't really happen because we're human, but if it could, Ra Uruhu always said, Ra, if you could come back as any design you want, what would you pick? And he said, totally open, no activations, nothing. So he could experience the whole program. I don't know how that's possible. But again, what do I know? So that's just take in how empty this is without its life forces. There's no channel of rhythm to keep everything in a flow. There's no channel of discovery on the right-hand side, no tantra that wants to experience the moment in their own vessel as themselves. There's no identity pouring off into the throat to express the direction of humanity moving forward, staying in the present, or moving from the past into the now. There's no channel of initiation, so the all-spark isn't there. There's no one to leap. I'm rattling through channels quickly. You don't have to point them out. I'm just pointing out some of these. There's no ego willpower driving into that priest and that priestess that is gate 25 from the warrior of 51, shocking things into existence, which is the very first thing that happens at conception. There's a shock, bam, and it comes into existence. From nothing came something, says the mutative impact of the warrior leaping into the void to conceive and now become something greater than its parts were beforehand. And that is a thing. That's a process, a chemical process. It happens. We've been endowed with it. And how empty and boring and nondescript and non-existent we would be with this emptiness. Now go back to the other slide real quick. Full of life. Welcome to humanity. This is us moving within each other over and over again with life forces that are unstoppable inside each individual. Hey, you're in charge of your own car. Learn how to drive it so you don't keep smashing into people. You simply pass through. Learn the rules of the road. You've got these life forces in your body graph. They drive your vehicle.
Yes.
Quit getting tickets on the side of the road. You know what I mean? For driving too fast and running all the red lights, type thing. That's a silly analogy, but it's a good analogy. It's good enough. Because these things are driving forces inside of you. You can't stop them. They bring our cognition, they bring our expression, they bring our love, they bring our spirit, they move us in a direction, they ensure our love is known, that it moves in the right direction and is in the right place or not, so that we can tell the difference. It guarantees us we can tell the difference. Like today's world, we can tell the difference.
Yeah.
And all of that moving towards the communion that is a must and a guarantee for humanity, that there will be communion between beings, or else we will surely perish. If you remove the communion, we can't live. So this whole body graph is here, filled and teeming with these life forces, all different in every single individual, guaranteeing that there's keynotes and sentences and words we can use to describe what they are, so that you can identify with them and suddenly realize that's who I am, and start to realize, oh my God, well, I guess I'm not this other thing, because there's nothing there. No, you're not. You were conditioned to be that. And you can now stop trying to be that thing through the course of your human design experiment and get your health.
That's great advice.
Yes, and get your health and your life and your direction back, and get this joy that we all know we're supposed to have. Not on a permanent basis, because we go through cycles, but regardless, we all know that the spirit of humanity is supposed to feel its cup filling as its love moves in the right direction, and as evidenced by our successfully communing with others and finding those right little tribes. And when we find them, we'll recognize, hey, our tribe doesn't want to kill your tribe. That's the old seven-centered way. You're over there and we're over here. If we have a dispute, we'll settle it in a common law court peacefully. That's our way, and chances are we don't have much of a dispute. If we do, we'll settle it. We'll talk it through. We'll do what communion demands, rather than the old seven-centered way, which was conquering demanded. So let's go full screen, Jen. This is us teeming with life. I don't know what else to say about the life forces. I just wanted to drive it into the consciousness that this is something that matters a great deal.
Yes.
Know your life forces. Get them read. Look at them in your own chart. Don't even call in for reading at first. Pull up your chart and say, where's the solid line? Be it red or black, or doesn't matter.
And check the links down below, guys. If you don't know what your chart is, you can pull that on the website now. So
if I'm not mistaken, the link is the tiny URL /HDA links is where they all are, right?
Yes, that's where they all are.
So the HDA links is the main one, and things you can do in there. So get your life forces looked into, and don't call it in at first. Look into it and go online and see what other people are describing that life force to be. And even though there'll be as many different descriptions as there are different people, you'll see they're all the same or substantially the same. And it's because there's only one way that thing plays out. And you'll see it in yourself. So see it for yourself and realize, oh my God, and then call in for your reading so we can do this analysis. This is complex analysis of who you are, who you're not, and how your strategy interfaces you with that particular truth. Strategy will always interface you with all of this, strategy and authority and type. get that information so that you can start to know in depth that there's names for all of this stuff. We can call it out, name it, and you can start the process of winding down the pain and the anguish of the stupid that's constantly pouring through our lives that takes us away from us. I call it the stupid. I know that sounds a little bit gruff, but whatever. I think you know what I'm talking about. All those times when we are what we're not and we pay a price. I call that whole entity of stuff, I just call it the stupid. Because we constantly run into it and we say to ourselves, that was stupid. Oh my God. So, pick up your broom and sweep that stupid out of your life.
Yes, I love how you said that. And well done. I haven't quite dove into all of the channels just yet. I'm still working through my gates.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's very informative because I can see the channels that I do have are playing a very significant part in my life. So
they drive you, Jennifer.
yes, they do.
Yeah, they drive us. It's an amazing, amazing feeling. They give us everything. They are our way. And that body graph is a unique tool. It's a diagnostic tool. It's no different than the chart on a hospital bed that's diagnosing for the next shift what's up with the patient,
Pretty much it is.
Chart. It's a medical chart.
It kind of is. If you want to know what your vehicle is, this is what, human design is the way to do it. Some of the people, that's how I'll explain it. They're like, well, what is it I'm looking at? I'm like, it is the vehicle you are driving. It's the vehicle you wanted to drive when you came down here. Most people are trying to drive a Ford like an Audi, and it doesn't quite work. So getting to know who you are and also seeing how these life forces are playing out in your life. I love how you integrated that, ones that are not, it's probably conditioning that we need to just get back down to, because we have so much conditioning that's going on. We live in that container. We're constantly being conditioned. So it's important that we do find out who it is that we are and what we are not.
Yeah. Something that occurs to me, Jen, about that, what we are and what we're not, is it's also a psychiatric diagnostic chart, for any kind of psychology and or all of these 3, 4, and 5 letter acronyms we give ourselves for these psychological terms, many of which don't really exist. They're just not really quite a thing. They are an aspect in your body graph. I love ADD and ADHD as the primary ones I use because I was diagnosed. I'm not AD anything. I have an open root, inside a manifesting generator body vehicle. Oops, that's not ADD. That's focused, penetrating, energy that must express itself in the now. So.
Yes.
Please don't give me any more pills at the age. If I go back to 5, don't hand me any medicine for that. I'll just allow it.
I'm really glad you used that scenario because I do feel like that term is thrown around way too much, especially in the school system. And because they've come out with medication, that's the first go-to that everybody goes to. Oh, teacher said my child's ADD. No. And this is another reason why I love human design, because you can really start to realize that we are all different and unique in our own ways. And the more that you top everything with medication, speaking from experience, I will speak from experience. For many years, I was either diagnosed with depression or anxiety. That was my emotional waves going up and down. And I know that when they do put you on medication, it does kind of zombify you, I didn't have any emotions. I didn't have any feelings. And now that I have had my awakening and I supplement for natural herbs and medicines that are provided on our planet that we're supposed to be taking. And I know my human design and I'm going through the self-discovery process and healing. I don't need that. There are other ways to balance that out. So thank you for bringing that up.
I never get sick of hearing your voice, Jen.
Thank you, Dan. Do you have
So,
anything else?
not much that I can really think of. I mean, just diagnose yourself, pull up your body graph, and recognize we have a diagnostic tool that is designed to replace our modern psychotherapy complex, and it's designed to fully enhance how we're medically treated. And it's designed to absolutely give you, in your own individual process, whom you are and what you're not, so that you can get rid of that insanity of trying to be the other.
Yes, yes. It's about time we all become our own unique self, because we're all designed to do something here, and that is not
Unabashed,
be what
unique.
the other people say that we are. So
Absolutely. Bring your couple in here, the beast with two backs. Let me read it. Bring your individual self in here. Let us get at this. We've made new contacts. Kajala, by the way, might come online with us at some point to basically, I've been meaning to reapproach her. I spoke to her yesterday, and
she's actually online. She said good morning in the comments.
Morning, Kajala. I love you. We want you to be, as we grow, we need you to be one of our readers as well, as a potential to help us really keep doing this. She's consummate pro. She's gone beyond plenty of things I've gone on. I can't wait to talk to her more. So yeah, get it all read. Let's look at your kids. Let's get that love back in our life the way it's supposed to move. Hurry. Don't wait. I'm done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for everybody who tuned in. Don't forget to, either book your free consultation, go pull your chart. If you are ready to go further, remember that we do have a monthly subscription here. It's $8.88 a month. It's called the Vortex. If you join now, that's going to lock in your price. We will be raising that price up just a little bit after the new year. We are still uploading a bunch of content to really help you. It's not all human design related. There's going to be a lot of human design, but we're opening it up to give you the tools for you to really start to navigate and understand how all of this connects. So it is a process, guys. It's not like just getting your reading and you're going to wake up to it. It is a deconditioning process. It's being able to witness your design and other designs at work. The more that I do recognize it, I'm still blown away. I'm like, oh wow, this is really legit. So the more that we wake up to who we are, the more that we can start to lead with love and really impact and make a change on the collective. And I think everybody who's watching and who really resonate, especially with what we talk about here, you are here to make a change, and that change does start with you. So, and Kajela says she would love to.
Yeah, we're gonna make a school. We're gonna make an impact of some kind. It's gonna keep to grow. And next week it looks like we'll get the thing out if that's for sure what we're gonna do. But next week it looks like we're gonna do the 2 pressure centers.
I think that's an excellent idea. I think we do need to cover that.
Yeah, we do, and hopefully Savannah will be able to come back. I miss her. So yeah, she and stuff. So Savannah, I miss you. So yeah.
Well, I think it was a great idea that she had brought that to the attention. So I'm looking forward. Yeah, I think it would be a great topic to discuss. So I'd like to hear what her input on that, share her knowledge on that subject.
Yeah, and plus we're all in open route, so we can speak to it.
Yeah, that open route, man, that pressure.
Yep. All righty, everyone. I'm done. We said our thing. Get your stuff read. Stop waiting.
Yep. All right, guys, we will see you. Oh, Wednesday, we are definitely doing Kanye West.
West, yes.
Yes. So make sure that you tune into that. There's a lot of stuff going on with Kanye. We'll see what happens this week, but he is definitely awakening people to all sorts of different things that are happening behind the scenes. And he is serving a part for the collective in this whole great awakening. So I'd like to dive into
Absolutely. So is
If-
Elon Musk. And if we had a moment, I'd love to pull up his chart and say what's going to happen at Twitter real quick, and then get on to Kanye, because we
Yes,
did Elon Musk
maybe.
in a previous episode. So
Yeah, maybe we can do that, because I'll just link the we've done Elon. I'll link that in the
that
comments
episode
and
and
everything.
that thing, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll just keynote it for a minute or two, and then we'll move on to what all those poor bastards over in Twitter can expect.
Yeah.
So, oops. Anyhow,
Yes,
okay.
Kazella, on this channel on Wednesdays, we do celebrity or key players that are playing out in the collective.
Yep, both
So
good and bad.
yeah, both good and bad, and you know, just all sorts of. That's more of our celebrity edition. So
Yep.
all right, guys, y'all have a beautiful Sunday, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Bye now.
Love you. Bye.